How's it going, everybody? Hope you're well, and welcome to Music with Michelle. Today I'm going to be checking out the debut self-titled EP from Man-Made Sunshine. A while ago I did a reaction to the lead single off of this album called Life's Gonna Kill You, and that is on this channel if you're interested in watching. I'll leave a link in the description. And yeah, it's taken me a while, but I finally got around to listen to the whole project. If you didn't know, Man-Made Sunshine is Connor Mason, the lead singer of Nothing But Thieves, and he released his debut 5-piece EP back in November, and I'm really excited to get into it. I'll also be doing a tier list for this video, but I'll get into that more when we get to it. Let's not waste any more time. Let's get straight into it with the first song, Brain in a Jar. Okay, let's go.
I'm waking up for the very first time. Slime's running down the side. I'm high up on a dusty shelf. I miss the sunlight and I miss my bike. I can sense the light. I can sense the light. I can sense the light. And I don't think so, therefore I'm alive.
Obviously, the lead single, Life's Gonna Kill You, was very melancholic, quite slow paced. So I wonder if the rest of the EP is going to follow suit. But interesting start. It feels like it's building up to something.
I can sense the light. Stuck inside of here. Am I even me? Am I even running here? Brain in a jar, brain out. Am I even mine to find in here? Am I even I can sense the light. Slums running down the side. I'm high up on a dusty shelf. But I can sense the light. I can sense the light. I can sense the slums running down. I can sense the horizon. I can sense the light. I can sense the light.
Okay, so that was the first song, Brain in a Jar. But before we get into that song, I just wanted to talk about the tier list I mentioned earlier on in the video. So when I do these reaction videos, I like to incorporate a tier list so I can kind of gauge and give a visualize. So when I do these videos, I like to do a tier list as it's a great visual way of showing how I feel about a song right after I listen to it. And I'm sure you know how a tier list works, but if you don't, there's 5 main tiers, and pretty much the lower the tier is the less I like the song. So the bottom tier is miss. So this tier is when I really don't like a song. So not many songs do fall into this category, but yeah, when it's in this tier, that means it's bad. Tier above that is not for me. You know, sometimes a song might be okay, but I just don't really like it. One above that, we've got re-listen. Sometimes you listen to a song and it doesn't really hit straight away. It kind of takes 2 or 3 listens to fully understand it, and then something just kind of clicks. And then the one above that is straight into my playlist, which basically means that I really like the song and I'm going to be listening to it over and over again. And then the top tier is called Life's Gonna Kill You If You Let It. So when I do these videos, I like to make that tier one of my favorite songs from the artist. Obviously, I've only listened to one song from Man-Made Sunshine, but this has been, you know, on repeat since I've listened to it. I'll talk more about that song when we get to it later on in the video, but for now, yeah, that top tier. So if any of these songs fit into that tier, that means I think they're on level with my favorite song from the artist. And yeah, let's get into Brain in a Jar. Now, I thought this was a really cool song. I'm a really big fan of it. I think the instrumentation was really cool. I paused the video and said how I felt like it was building up to something, and I feel like the payoff was really good. Now, I mentioned it in my Life's Gonna Kill You reaction video, but Connor has such an incredible voice. You know, it's so diverse and it can fit over so many genres. And I would say this song kind of fits more towards what we've been hearing from Nothing But Thieves in their last album. I could definitely see the Moral Panic inspiration, which is obviously inevitable because, you know, Connor is the lead singer of that band. But that new direction where Nothing But Thieves is going, I kind of feel like this, so far, the 2 songs I've heard from this album, they definitely fit into that sort of path they're following. So whether it was Connor's idea to go this way or it was a band's idea, I'm not too sure. But yeah, the first song, really impressed with that. I'm not great with lyrics in terms of fully understanding the song the first time I hear it. Sometimes it takes a few times for me to truly grasp what the song is about. But I do remember Connor doing an interview before this album came out, and he mentioned how all these songs come from a pretty vulnerable place. And I think a lot of those lyrics kind of align to that. But that is one of my favourite styles of Connor's, especially when he does it with Nothing But Thieves. I'm going to try not to mention Nothing But Thieves too much because this is his own solo project. It's kind of distant from that. But I do love it when the band does those songs like Phobia, where it just builds up, builds up, builds up, builds up, and then finally just hits with this really cool chorus. And, you know, for that reason, really, I'm instantly a big fan of this song. I don't think it had the same impact as when I heard Life's Gonna Kill You, so I would probably put it into the second tier for now. But I can definitely see that one moving up a tier. That's a great start to the album. Let's move on to song 2, which is Big.
I stayed with you all night as you spat out your sleeping pills on the couch, too big for a room that size. An overpriced golden ring table side, don't sleep. I'm not ready to lose you. Am I big to you now? While I pick up the pieces that you left of my life, while I patch up the pieces, I hear it in the night. It's the sound of alone in the dark. Within, while I pick up the pieces that you left of my life, I remember your innocent heart. Forgive you now. Forget the way things were.
Okay, so that's number 2, Big, and a bit more of a happy song, not so much the lyrics, but in terms of the actual music itself. And I'm a really big fan of this sort of dream poppy kind of vibe that he's going for. It kind of fits more into that sort of genre. You know, I'm not sure exactly what kind of genre you put this in, but it's that melancholic dream poppy feel. And I'm such a huge fan of that kind of music, so it's really cool to see one of my favorite artists kind of going down that avenue. Again, I think it's just another showcase of Connor's fantastic voice. He's such an underrated singer, in my opinion, and I've had the pleasure of seeing him twice, once in a big venue and once in a small venue. And yeah, the size of the venue really doesn't matter because his voice just fills out the entire, you know, wherever he's playing, it just fills out the entire venue. And yeah, I'm a really big fan of the kind of angle this album's going for so far. And the production as well. Production seems really good. I'm not sure if he produced it himself. He did mention in that video that I spoke about earlier that he wrote this during lockdown and that kind of stuff. So I don't know if he actually produced all this music himself. But I know that I think the guitarist for Nothing But Thieves is a producer. He works with a lot of smaller bands like Airways and bands like that. So I'm not sure, maybe he has some external help. I'm not sure. But yeah, the production value on here is really, really good. And I think I will put Big, despite all that I said, I think I will put it in re-listen just because I want to have another listen to it and kind of maybe listen to it 2 or 3 more times just to see where I'm at with it. It didn't grab me as much as the first one and Life's Gonna Kill You, so that's pretty much the only reason I'm basing that on. But other than that, I think it was a really cool song. I just want to listen to it a few more times and see how I really feel about it. But once again, a really, really cool song, and out of the 3 songs I've heard so far, they've all been brilliant. So let's see where it goes with number 3, Little Bird.
There's a little bird sitting in my chest, and it calls to me. Well, I'll suffocate him with my smoke and my pills that make all the little creatures go away. Out through my throat. Fly, fly, fly.
Ow.
That little bird cussing his broken wings. Hey, that little bird sitting in my chest. Hear me sing to you. It's so dark in there. Are you ever coming out?
What a fantastic showcase of his vocal ability. Spoke about in the song before, but this one just took it up another level. That chorus, you know, he was hitting such high notes. It's unbelievable. It's another really mellow song. There's not been anything too crazy on this album yet. I don't really expect there to be either. It's all kind of fitting the kind of same theme as the other songs on here. And of course, it is only 5 songs long, but so far it's just such a fantastic showcase of his musical talent. What's really cool about this song is that it kind of has themes of old and new. It sounds like something you would hear in like the early 2000s, but blended with the modern instrumentation that we're more used to in, you know, this day and age. Really utilizing those new sounds that we've become so used to in these sort of genres. Overall, it's a really, really good song, and it's kind of playing into, you know, what I like about Connor so much, which is his vocal ability, and I could really listen to him sing all day. So I think for that reason, I'll put it into the second tier. Definitely a bit more slower compared to the other songs on here, but I think that's a nice change. You know, sometimes you need music like this in your playlist. So the next song on the list is Life's Gonna Kill You, and as I mentioned, I've already reacted to it. And like I said, the link to that is in the description, so if you want to go check that out and see my full reaction to the first time I heard it, then please feel free to do that. If you want to hear my more comprehensive view on the song, then go check that video out. I'll keep it a bit more shorter here. But yeah, it's been a little while since the song came out, and my feelings haven't really changed since that video. I still think it is, you know, an unbelievable song. One of the best songs I've heard from Connor, not just from, you know, his solo project, but from his Nothing But Thieves stuff as well. It was such a breath of fresh air at the time, you know, there wasn't much stuff coming out like that. And it felt very personal, you know, that's kind of the emphasis of this album, is it is more of like an introspective album, but it did really, really feel personal. It came out at a great time for me personally, and I'm still listening to it to this day, still really, really enjoy it. I actually even included it in my top 50 songs of the year. I think I placed it at number 15 or something like that. Yeah, an absolutely unbelievable song, and of course the top tier is named after this song, so naturally that song will go in there. And I thought it would be hard to top that song. You know, there's a reason why it's the most popular song on this album. And so far, I wouldn't really say that any song comes close to that so far, but over time, I'm not too sure, something might change, but yeah, so far that is definitely my favourite song. And let's see what the final song on this EP has in store for us. So here is the fifth and final song, Rosebud. Got to say, the piano work in this album has been absolutely brilliant.
Satellite has blocked the sun. It's so hard to find life at all, but I wanna find my flower. How can I get out of the cold when there's all that's left of you now? 'Cause after you know her, the winter's not over. No rosebud don't bloom in the snow. Snow, snow, snow. In the clay, it sticks to my feet.
Ooh.
And if I leave, will it wear down my boots? And there's all that's left of you now. 'Cause after you know her, the journey to grow up. When a rosebud don't bloom in the snow. Snow, snow, snow. Snow, snow, snow. Snow, snow, snow. Snow, snow, snow. And the snow.
Yeah, that was the fifth and final song, Rosebud. And I'm kind of run out of things to say at this point. I'm glad this isn't a 10-song album, because I literally have no words to say. Like, not just this song, but the album as a whole. Just such a refreshing piece of music. You know, especially when it's an artist you know and you've kind of been listening to for almost a decade at this point. To see this different side of them, it is really, really cool. And what really helps as well is that the music's fantastic. The piano is just really cool that goes throughout this song. The effect he has on the vocals, again, is really cool. He used it a lot in Life's Gonna Kill You. He used it a lot in there. And I saw a lot of people say they didn't really like the use of that sort of voice change that he used. But I quite like the effects that he used in his voice, especially in this one. I think it really works well. And I think the last song is really important in like an EP or an album, because it's supposed to be like a bit of closure at the end of the project, and it's a really hard thing to get right, but I think Connor done really, really well with this song. It's a brilliant way to end an album, and especially that last minute, oh, that was so good. A really great subject matter as well. The lyrics were fantastic, like a rosebud can't grow in the snow. Then the halfway point as well, there's that really cool bit of distortion that kicked in. That was really cool. And yeah, I think once again, I think this song will have to go into the second tier, straight to my playlist. Once again, not really at the level of Life's Gonna Kill You, but Life's Gonna Kill You has had, what, nearly 4 or 5 months on top of this song to kind of, for me to listen to it more. So over time, that might change. But yeah, that is how the final tier sits. And I've got to say, I am very, very impressed with this album. It's one of those albums that you go into and just know that it's going to be good. I couldn't really fathom the idea of this not being a good album because of, you know, I've known Connor from previous stuff, and I just knew that, especially after that first single that came out, that it's going to be a really, really great album. But I got to say, I think it exceeded my expectations. I wasn't expecting it to be this sort of polished and well produced, and I didn't think it would be this deep either. You know, a lot of this album I kind of spent with my head down, just nodding, and I kind of zoned out for a little bit. But I think that's the whole kind of point of this kind of music, is that you're supposed to just sort of, you know, relax with it and just let it sort of take over you a little bit. So in terms of like an album to react to, it's not been the greatest because, yeah, a lot of it was just me with my head down nodding, but that is the effect that it had on me. Yeah, really cool to get to know one of your favorite artists even more. And it is a shame that it's only 5 songs long, because I can imagine that he has so many over the years he's built up and worked on and produced. But I like to think that this is just like a little taster of what's to come, and it's just sort of like a little introduction to what he could do. Yeah, I really love the theme of the album. I love the kind of genre that it put itself in. Like I said, that sort of dream pop, that kind of all indie, works so well for him, especially for his voice, which again on this album just was showcased to another level. Would be really cool for him to do like a little tour with just his own personal music, where it's just him. Because yeah, him in just a small venue, something you got to experience. I was lucky to see him in the O2 Academy in Oxford, which is like a quite a small venue. I think it's only like 1,000 people or so. That was like their warm-up gig to their big tour they were doing later on in the year. And it's just one of those kind of performances that hasn't really left me since then. I think that's been like a year and a half ago at this point, or even nearly 2 years now, I think. But yeah, that one stuck with me. So if I can see him in like an even smaller venue, that would just be amazing. So yeah, that was my first reaction to Man-Made Sunshine. I think this was a fantastic showcase of what Conor Mason can do. So fingers crossed that he's going to be releasing a full-length album at some point. And I'm sure that's not the last we've seen of him. And if there's anything else that comes out from him, I will be reacting to it on this channel. I'll also be reacting to a lot more music, kind of similar to this, as well as a wide range of other genres as well. So if that's something you'd be interested in, please consider subscribing. Thank you so much for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed it, and I hope you have a nice day.